Hi, everybody. It's me again, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about my three biggest takeaways from the semester. So, the first thing that I really took away was that in order to be an effective teacher, being prepared is so important. Not that I had thought before that teachers didn't have to be prepared when they were giving lessons or doing anything like that, but I think throughout the semester, I got to experience just how many moving parts there are, how many things there are to consider when you're doing your lesson, whether it's, taking into account each individual student you have to actually facilitating the lesson. There are so many things that you have to have on your brain at all times. So the more prepared you are in the forefront, the easier it's going to be, and the more that your students are going to get out of your lesson and what you're having to teach. So I think that that was something that I really did learn off the bat that I definitely will be taking with me throughout my career. The second thing that I learned or took away from the course was that universal design for learning, social justice education, and culturally sustaining pedagogies. Um, those are all very different in their own right, but they all need to work together in order to be an effective teacher. I think that throughout my undergraduate so far, I've heard all of those terms, and we would talk on them and touch on them in different classes depending on what it was that we were doing. But I think for the first time in this class, we really had to make a cognizant effort of making sure all three of them were being implemented, you know, 90%, 100% of the time, and making them all work in a way that made sense and was, again, making the most effective lesson possible. Um, I hadn't really done that before in a course, but I think getting to do that this time was really good for me, not only for me as a teacher, but it just kind of expanded my knowledge about, the kind of teacher that I want to be, and that all of these things are possible. But again, it takes a lot of preparation, a lot of thought, and a lot of creativity. So knowing that they can and should work together cohesively, that was something that I definitely took away from the course. Um, and then another, I think the biggest and third and final takeaway that I got is that these skills take time. I think that I kind of came into the class and, knowing that we had to do a lesson like this, I think that I thought that, kind of facilitating a lesson would just kind of happen. We've done it in other courses before, but never as in depth as this one. So yeah, I think my biggest takeaway is that these things are just going to take time. And as I go in, onto my education and I, take more courses, facilitate more lessons, go into student teaching, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm not going to get it right the first time, 100% of the time. It's just not realistic. So knowing that I, I get to grow with students and that I get to learn every single day and try new things and make mistakes, I think that that is something that I took away, and I think I feel really good about that going going on past this class. So those are the things that I learned.